Now, he says this. Secondly, joy qualifies for suffering. When the spirit is oppressed, the smallest trial is a burden. In those seasons we are apt to fret and murmur both against God and man. We consider our trials as the effects of divine wrath, our overlooking God. That I'm suffering because either God's His wrath or He's looked upon something that I've done. We consider trials as the effect of divine wrath or overlooking God. We vent our indignation against the instruments He uses. But when the soul is joyous, afflictions appear light. How little did Paul and Silas regard their imprisonment? How willing was Paul to lay down his very life for Christ? This accords with the experience of every true Christian. I am so sick and tired of people thinking that Paul was willing to lay down his life because he was just so much more spiritual than the rest of us. Stop it. Stop deifying men. He was willing to lay down his life because he caught a glimpse of all the things that have been given to us fully in Scripture. Who God is, what God has decreed, what God has done, what God will do. And that's why you need to get in the Scripture. You need to get in the Scripture and ask those questions. Now, finally, obedience. And it's really quick. Obedience is founded upon faith. You need to understand that. Something is set for me to do. And it's something that maybe goes against the world, goes against the grain, goes against my personality. And the Scriptures say, do this. And the devil and the world say, don't do that, do this. You can't separate obedience from faith. Do you realize that? In what way? Obedience occurs because I believe that God is right. That what He's telling me is right and it's the best for me. Whereas this, I believe, is a lie. Do you see that? So it's by faith. I do it because I believe that God tells the truth. Obedience begins with doubting God. Has God said? Another thing, obedience is energized by joy. I've already said that. Man, when my heart is joyful, really joyful, you can't contain me. I'm ready to go fight hell with a water pistol. I'm willing to do anything. Obedience is not a burden, but the way of security and peace and joy. It's like a circle. Why is obedience, why does it bring joy? Now listen to me, young people especially. Why does obedience come from joy and bring joy? I am 54 years old and I've learned a lot. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the judgment of men is not to be trusted. My own judgment is not to be trusted. Now, that means if what the Scriptures say is true, everything that I do in life has great importance, will impact eternity. So this life of mine, as small and everything as it is, this life of mine, every moment of it is important. How fearful and insecure I would be if I had no map, if I had no compass, if I didn't know how to walk, what to do, if I didn't know what destroys and what gives life. Really. How terrible that would be, knowing that this life matters and I have not the judgment to walk in it. I have no security. I have no peace. I have nothing. I'm like, cut the rope. Let the ship just be tossed about on the sea. I don't have anything to hold on to. But if the commandments of God are a light unto my feet, if they're a path well trodden by countless saints who at the end affirm that every commandment is true and good and holy and just, Boy, what a confidence that gives me. How do I have a wife? What of all the things, what could be more tremendous than to be entrusted with a wife? If I did not know how to do that, if there was no omnipotent, omniscient God telling me, walk this way, I would be terrified. Because I tell young men whenever I'm counseling in marriage, everything your body tells you to do, do not do it. Submit to the law of God. Know how to walk with this woman. My children, my own life, everything. The way I work, everything. I wouldn't know what to do. I can't trust me. I'm most certainly not going to trust you. I need something greater and higher. I'm not wandering aimlessly, but there's purpose.